Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and we've got the opportunity to finally shoot this car that we've given you guys the progress on, but here it is complete. This is Grimm 7.0. Just a truly spectacular build. It's been fun to watch the progress on this car, and now to see it complete, to hear the sounds it makes, just truly an extraordinary build. I'm so proud of my friend Jesus and his company Lopez Customs. So we're gonna dig in right now. We're gonna walk through this whole car. We've given you guys updates and progress on the build. Now we're showing you the whole build and we're gonna talk through it. So hold on, because here we go, man. All right, you guys, so we've shown you a lot of progress on this car. Even showed you some of it when I was back at Speedcore a few months back, but the car's done, it's complete. By the time you're seeing this, it'll be seen at SEMA, but let's kind of dig in on this one. So since the hood's open, let's get into the engine. I think is a great place to start because it's truly an incredible motor. This is a Mercury Racing Motor, you know, the guys that build the boat motors. It's a 7-liter Mercury Racing Motor, naturally aspirated, making 750 horsepower. Gotta love that. The transmission on the car, it's a 6-speed Tremec T56, but it's been built by Bowler to deal with the power and, you know, make it that much better of a trans. And I gotta admit, this engine bay is just truly beautiful. The carbon looks OEM. I mean, the patterns that are in here, the fitment of it. But talk about just truly beautiful is this centerpiece, this intake cover that my friend Sean Smith designed. He designed this entire car. This is a 3D printed piece from the guys at Speedcore. Speaking of Speedcore, because they did have a lot of involvement on this car, they painted it, they did all the carbon work that you see, which includes obviously the engine bay here, the front splitter, the wing on the back, which is just beautiful because depending on which angle you look at it from, on one side it's painted, on the other side it's exposed carbon. So it makes you wonder, is that a carbon laminate? Is the whole thing carbon? It's a really cool touch. But as you walk around and look at this car, I mean, for me personally, the colors that they chose are so rich. The golds that are mixed against the blue, the interior, as Jesus called it, it's supposed to look like dried blood. But then they gave us a surprise in the seats by brightening it up and bringing in the color that's in the stitching throughout the interior. Now it's the main color of the seat. Killer combos everywhere you look on this. I love that the doors, the headlight doors are still functional, but all the gold trim, it's like, for me, gold's one of those colors that if you go too far with it, you've got too much of it. Not enough of it looks like, why did you use it at all? This is one that you really have to watch the amount you use, and I think they just did perfect by not overdoing it. But everywhere you look on here, the gaps are incredible. The bumpers, how they're flushed in like this, the lines that have been sharpened. There's so many details on this car. The HREs, I mean, HRE just knocked it out on this wheel. Again, it's a lot of gold, but I think it's, for me personally, it's just the right amount used on this car. The stance couldn't be more perfect. How about this? Again, for like just such a subtle thing they did here, instead of leaving the entire mirror exposed carbon, the top of it is, it's split by a gold line and then it's color batched here on the bottom. Everywhere you look on this car, and I know my friend Sean well enough, it's what I call artistic restraint. It's knowing when you could go too far with it and kind of kill the value, the flavor of the car overall. I gotta grab the keys because this is one of my favorite parts of this car. I have not seen anyone do this yet, but watch the door handle. The Tesla door handles, boom, right? And then you walk up to it with the key. I didn't touch anything, right? It just senses it and the handles come out. They're lit exactly, I mean, it's a Tesla door handle. And I like it because I'm not personally a fan of the shaved ones. Some of the guys that are doing insets like this are making them a little too thin for my taste. You could have gone, I've seen people use Aston handles, I've seen people use GTR handles, but what I like about this is that the handle disappears, but when it comes out, it's a big, beefy handle. I mean, you've got a car that's making 750 horsepower. I don't want a little dinky handle. The gold trim that you have going around the exhaust exit here, the entire exhaust is Cerakoted in that color. So on the underside, that's what you see, even though it's hidden away. And so many great little elements here. The way they did the carbon panel here. I love the sequential lights. And this, tell me the center cap doesn't just top it off, the Grimm 7.0, but this is awesome about it. So it pops out and now you've got a quick fill here. It's just such a cool little piece. And that's another piece 3D printed by the Speedcore guys. This carbon fiber tailpiece, wing, all done by them, all designed by Sean. Jesus did the smart thing in my opinion, which is do what he knows they can do well, the metal work, the interior, the assembly. They knew they could do all that part, but they wanted to bring in some of the best from, you know, starting from design and then to 3D, and a lot of the pieces on this car are done in CAD. But in the interior, there's elements in here that I think there's so much Euro styling, especially on the interior of this car. The materials used, the leather with the Alcantara, with the carbon inserts, this pattern. I mean, Jesus told me the amount of time it took to create these squares that are kind of a theme throughout the whole car. But then they bring in elements like this. The vents are from a Ferrari. All their AC heat vents are from a Ferrari. The switches here, I mean, a lot of you guys are gonna know what these are. These are Lamborghini Huracan switches. The shifter, I absolutely love the look of it. It's gotta be sorted out a little bit. The guy that cut this missed on it because the original concept was to have it be a ball shifter and then just have the end of it flat. Unfortunately, he cut too far and lost the bulk of the ball there. So great look, but that will be handled. But as you look in the interior, imagine this, there's roughly 600 hours into the creation of this interior. Gabes Custom Interiors is arguably, you know, they're at the top of the food chain for custom car interiors. They did interiors for guys like Boyd, they do Speedcore stuff, they do Steve Strope stuff, and on and on and on it goes with who they do. This is like their Mona Lisa interior. They had no restraints on this. The owner said, do what you want. I trust you guys. And this is what they created. 600 hours into an interior. If I was to guess, I would put a dollar amount of, they're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000+ into this interior. You know, I mean, you guys know I'm around a lot of really extraordinary builds. This is truly one of the finest builds I've ever seen. Along with the performance motor, I mean, you got to make sure the car is going to work, right? So underneath is the Roadster Shop Fast Track chassis, which gives the coilovers come with it. The whole thing's set up ready for this to be dropped on here. So you know you've got suspension and chassis that works on this car. When you get the Fast Track chassis from Roadster Shop, it also comes with the bare brakes that are on here. So you've already got the big brake package. Very Euro, again, is the startup on this car. Now the sound, as you're about to hear, is far from Euro. This creative use of digital gauges done by the guys at Continental Tire also does gauges. But check out this design, this is just genius. Watch this, you guys. And then you go into reverse. How cool is that? And then when you go back into neutral or back into gear, your gauges come back into focus. Awesome. All right, you guys, well, that's it for our shoot of this just wonderful build, man. As I said towards the end of kind of going through the details, I really look forward to seeing how this car does this week at SEMA. I think this is going to be one of the cars to watch out for. I love having it here at the shop, even if nothing more than getting to sit in it and start it up, man. Just truly, I think, an extraordinary build. So that's it for this episode, you guys. Thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we do. I look forward to hearing your comments on what you guys think about this car, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.